so we are today we are going to conduct the first part of cell cycle. So in the first part we will study about what are the G1, S and G2 phase, and in next lecture we will study in detail the mitosis part. Okay, so let's start with the today's lecture. So before that, if you have not joined my Telegram channel, you can join, and also for a detailed course you can also visit my website, that is shivaschool.co.in. So let's start with the chapter, but before that, see, many of you might not know about these, some of the important terminology which are there. Okay, so what we are going to see first is whatever the terminologies are there with respect to this chapter of mitosis or cell cycle. We will first study those terminologies. Although we have already covered these terminologies in our earlier lecture of nucleus, let's just still revise and let's see what are those terminologies are. See, this is what the chromatin is the first terminology, right? So let's see what is that chromatin. See, chromatin is nothing but what, see, in the basic structure you have a DNA, right? This is the DNA, double helix structure, right? In that double helix you have all these adenine, guanine and cytosine, thymine, purine and pyrimidines. So this is the one thread of DNA, and along with it the chromatin also has these histone proteins also. Okay, so these are the 8 histone proteins, cluster of 8 histone proteins is there, and around it this thread of DNA winds for 2 times, and after it forms this basic structure. This is called as nucleosome. See, if you want to see this structure in details and information about this in detail, you can refer my earlier lecture on nucleus. Okay, so with this it forms a chromatin, right? So chromatin is nothing but what? It is the complex of DNA and proteins, right? So these proteins are histone proteins, and this DNA is this thread of DNA, double stranded DNA, right? So with this it forms a nucleosome, and this is the basic unit, we can say, of this chromatin. And when such many nucleosomes come in contact, see, what happens is that along there is another protein called as histone H1 proteins. So to these nucleosomes another H1 proteins are also come in contact, and once they came in contact they will form such a compact structure, and this polymerizes into a thread of chromosome, and that basic thread of chromosome, this thread of chromosome is referred to as chromatin. Okay, and with this chromatin only all these you know, this chromosome is just a pair of 2 chromatids, like this structure you might have already seen. So this entire structure of chromosome is formed from nothing but this chromatin thread, right? And this chromatin thread will have in its magnified structure will have these nucleosome units, right? These are the nucleosome units. And if you magnify further these nucleosome units, you will find out these 8 histone proteins, and around these 8 histone proteins a thread of DNA, which is this double stranded DNA, winds it 2 times. So this is a further magnified structure, right? So this is how chromatin is. Now I have already explained this nucleosomes also, right? So nucleosomes are what? It is a basic structural unit of DNA packaging. It has 8 histone proteins and a DNA molecule, or this double stranded DNA is woven around it, right? Chromosome is nothing but it is just the genetic material, or we can say whatever the genetic material of an individual is, it is stored in this chromosome, right? So they are called as chromosomes. Okay, so these are the 3 terminologies. Other are this chromatid. Now let's see what is the chromatid. See, we have seen this nucleosome also, we know this double stranded DNA also, we know this histone proteins also. Now we know out of all these, this chromatin is formed. Now when this chromatin, we have this chromatin thread. Now what happens is that, see, these are 2 sister chromatids. So this one strand of chromatid is formed out of this chromatin fiber, and also this is formed after the replication in S phase, which we are going to study in the next part, right? So this is nothing but what, this entire part nothing but what, exact replica of this part, right? and this is formed after the replication in S phase. So that's why this entire structure, as this is nothing but the replica of this part, this entire structure is referred as chromosome, entire structure as one chromosome. But half part of this half part, right, let me just rub it once. But the half part of this chromosome is referred as chromatid. This half would be called as what? One chromatid. And as they are similar, as this strand of chromatid is formed after replication and it is a copy of this strand, so entire these two chromatids are referred as sister chromatids, right? So I hope you have just cleared with this what is the chromatid is and what is chromatin is, because many times students get confused about this chromatin and chromatid, right? So chromatin is this basic thread which is formed out of DNA and histone proteins, and chromatid is nothing but what? Half part of this chromosome, right? Next is, say this part is called as centromere, and on this centromere there are some proteins, right? These proteins helps to attach with the spindle, mitotic spindle fiber, microtubule fibers. So they are called as what? Kinetochore. So we have seen these 6 terminologies. Let's see next 2 terminologies. Now we have seen chromatin, but there is further differentiation in chromatin, like euchromatin is also there and heterochromatin is there. See, whatever this is the structure of simplified, you can say further simplified structure of chromosome. Let's see what is there in this structure. First of all, this is the one strand of chromatid, right? This is one strand of chromatin and this is one strand of chromatin. So these are two called as what? Sister chromatids. This entire structure will be referred to as only one chromosome. Okay, remember this. Even these are two chromatids, but this entire structure is called as what? One chromosome. One chromosome is there. This one chromosome is attached with each other at a point which is called as what? Centromere. This is a point just near about the center. These two strands are attached with each other and it is referred to as what? Centromere. On this centromere region only, there are two kinetochore proteins, the one of this chromatid and one of this chromatid. Two kinetochore proteins are attached to this centromere only, right? And what is centromere we will also see in this next part. But there is further points in the structure of chromosome. There is one shorter arm of chromosome is there and one arm is long, right? So the shorter arm is referred to as P arm and the longer arm is referred to as Q arm, right? And what are now euchromatin is there and what is the heterochromatin is there. See, this entire structure of chromosome, there are different spots where the density of this chromatin is different, right? And this density of chromatin is high on this tail points, so that's why it is densely stained, and also at the middle part near this centromere also, right? So because of these two parts, right, this one central part and tail part, they are appeared as a dark stained, so that's why they are highly condensed also. Sorry, they are highly condensed also. So that's why they appear what? Dark, and they are referred to as what? Heterochromatin. So in the structure of chromosome only, there is a further part which is lightly packed or lightly stained under the stain. So and they are referred to as what? Euchromatin, right? So the heterochromatin is which part? Which is near to the center and tail, and they are darkly stained. And the euchromatin is lightly stained part or lightly packed. This is also lightly packed. You can see the packaging here and here. The difference is that this part is the very compactly part. You don't see any space left behind, but here you can see there are lots of space. So it is not like compactly packed. So this is lightly packed. These are also lightly packed. So these are referred to as what? Euchromatin, and these are referred to as what? Darkly stained what? Heterochromatin. So we have seen almost all of these terminologies which are going to study in the next lectures. We are going to be next part, used in the next part. And before that, there is some differentiation of cell growth, as the lecture also consists of cell growth also. But let's see what are the types of growth. Actually, I have just included this part in one of my earlier lectures, so I will just tell you in the short. What is the exotic growth is that. So this is, see, in the growth there are two basic types. Either there is a growth increase in mass, or either there is increase in number, right? So yes, on this only there are two types, or these two terminologies are there. Exotic growth is what? Increase in cell mass, right? So this the growth of cell in terms of increase in mass is referred to as exotic growth. The growth of cell in terms of number, right, it is referred to as what? Multiplicative growth. And the accretionary growth is what? Accumulation of extracellular products on, right, like suppose this is one crystal, and you just because of the crystallization or precipitation, some other part also gets deposited on this crystal. So the size of the crystal is increased, so it has grown. So this kind of growth is referred to as what? Accretionary growth. Okay. And these are just basic terminologies which will be useful to understand the cell growth. Okay. So right now we will start with our actual points of or the actual lecture. So we have seen all these terminologies which are going to be used in this lecture. So let's start with the cell cycle first. But before that, let me see whether there are any queries or not. If you have any query, you can just paste your doubt in, or type your doubt in the chat box. Okay. I think there are no queries, right? So let's see. So let's start. The cell cycle. What is means by cell cycle? See, the cell cycle is nothing but what? It is a cycle in between two mitosis, we can say, right? In between when the cell start from division of the cell of the first time occurs, then unless its second division will occur, that time in between the two successive divisions is referred to as what? Cell cycle. Now in this cell cycle there are three basic three cycles also are included, we can say. And these three cycles are like the chromosome cycle is referred with the replication of the DNA. The cytoplasmic cycle will deal with the growth of the protoplasm and division of that protoplasm in two cells, two daughter cells. The centrosome will deal with the replication of or duplication of those centrosome and migration of the centrosome in two poles in the mitosis. What are these poles and all, we will see in this next part. Okay, so this is the centrosome cycle, which is referred to as what? Duplication of the centrosome, which will be divided equally into two daughter cells. Okay, so this is about cell cycle. Now let's see what is the cell duration. What is this cell cycle? We have just seen a short introduction of cell cycle. What is the duration of this cell cycle? See, this duration of the cell cycle can vary even from the type of cell also and to organism also. Amoeba may have its own cell cycle with own duration. Mammals will have own cell cycle with their own duration. Even within the mammals, our cells of the like heart muscle, neuron cells will have a different cell cycle or duration, and our like embryonal cell, embryonic cell will have a different cell cycle. So that variation is there, even in between organisms also and in between species also. So let's see what are the few examples. Like, so we can see, you can see here, you don't have, obviously you don't have to mention all these cycles, all these durations of the cell cycle. I have just given you to just give an idea about that. There are some cells which have the cell cycle as short as 8 minutes also, and in human also, human brains have the cell cycle more than 200 years also, right? Even if we die after 100 years or 80 years, but our brain cells can still survive. They can survive if they have just provided with the sufficient or conducive environment. Okay, so these are the just representative cell cycle durations of different type of cycles. Even if in an answer you have been asked, you can just mention any two, like human brain cells have 200 years direction the life cycle, and the most common life cycle is like 24 hours for human cells which you divide, right? It is 24 hour. So you can just mention any 2 or 3. This will be mostly useful in case of multiple choice questions, right? So just to compare, or they may ask to order the cells according to the cell duration also. So you just remember it for once, but there is nothing much for UPSC mains, right? Let's see next. See, this entire cell cycle is there. It is actually controlled and regulated with some proteins and enzymes. These are like protein kinases, specific kinase inhibitors, transcription factors, highly specific protein degradation factors. And what are these? We will study in the checkpoint of the this mitosis. Okay, maybe in the last part of this cell biology, right? It will all the mitosis. We will conduct a separate lecture on checkpoints in this mitosis. Okay, so just right now, just remember these are these kinases, inhibitors, the kinase inhibitors or protein kinases. All of these just regulate these mitosis, and how it regulates we will study once we have all the information about mitosis. We will also study detail about these checkpoints also. Now let's see the actual phases of the cell cycle. See, the actual phases of the cell cycle mainly 2 phases, right? The first phase is what? Interphase. Okay, let me just change color of this marker. Okay, the first is what? Interphase, right? So this is the interphase. The second phase we can say as M phase. Right? In this interphase, there are further phases like G1, S, and G2. In this M phase, there are further phase like mitosis and cytokinesis. Okay. Further in mitosis, there are 4 phases, right? P-mat, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, right? So these are further. So we will just today we will study up to this G1, S, G2, and also G0 phase. Next lecture we will study the M phase, mitosis, and all. Okay. So let's see the cell cycle. Just this is the simplified diagram you can draw. I can say this is the simplified diagram. It has all the necessary requirements of an answer inside it, and there would be another diagram in this cell cycle question that is with the checkpoints of this cell cycle, but that would be a different question, and that would be also a different diagram. So for now, just let's see about the information of the cell cycle. What is this? So let's see the first the interphase. So in interphase, there is a first phase we can say, that is what? G1. Right. What is G1 phase? So G1 phase, this is actually the RNA and protein synthesis occurs in this G1 phase, and along with it, see, when the cytokinesis is what? Nothing but it is the differentiation of an mother cell into daughter cell. Immediately after forming 2 daughter cells, there may be a phase for the cell when it does not grow or does not have show any DNA replication. At that time, it is in G0 phase or resting phase, right? Resting phase means what? It is not going to replicate soon. So that phase is referred to as G0 phase. Many times you can see this G0 phase as a different phase apart from this G1, and in many reference book it is just given under G1 only, right? So let's see one by one. So this is the G1 phase when this RNA and protein synthesis occurs. In the next S phase, the DNA synthesis or actual DNA replication occurs. In the G2 phase, the structural protein synthesis is occur. And what is the benefit of this phase? That it gives all the necessary requirement for this mitosis. All that processing or the preparation is done in this G2 phase. Now let's see the phases one by one. First, we have a basic introduction about the interphase. See, this interphase, as I said, in this entire cell, the entire cell is preparation for division, because once this is the mitosis phase, right? the preparation for this mitosis is occurring in this entire interphase, right? So that is what is said. This entire interphase is where the preparation for mitosis is occurs, right? That means the cell will grow into a mature cell. The DNA will be replicated so that the two daughter cells will have two sets of one set of each chromosomes. So that is also occurs in the interphase. The cell nearly doubles in mass. In this interphase only, cells increase in size, but there is no structural changes like morphological changes, like there is no formation of a cleavage to just separate two daughter cells. Okay, so that kind of things not occur. Just cell increases in its mass. Then this, as I have said, it is divided into G1S and G2, and out of these two phases, G1 is typically longer than G2. This phase of growth is longer than G2 in most of the cases, and where it is where it varies, that will also going to study, right? It most of the time it varies in case of just embryonal cell, where just there is no time for growth. Most of the time they are just divides and multiplies, right, at that time. So there will be a variation in G1 also and G2 also. Okay, so we will study separately that. Now let's see, let's study the G1 phase in detail. Okay, see, whatever these points are in this lecture are there, almost I have included every point, but I will also give you a separate note of this lecture just immediately after this lecture only in a PDF format, and that you will have all the necessary information about this G1, G2 and S phases that I have just brought almost from 10 reference book. Okay, so you won't need to refer any other book once you have referred this my lecture and those PDF notes. Okay, so that's why it is very much important to also go through the PDF notes, as I cannot just include all that theory in the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so let's see what is the G1 phase first, and later on you should also go through the my PDF notes also. So the G1 phase is what? The new daughter cells mature and form nucleus and cytoplasm. Okay, so G1 phase is this, right? As here the DNA synthesis is occurring. In this phase, all the RNAs, proteins, and the enzymes will be synthesized in this G1 phase. So it is also this G stands for nothing but stands for what? Gap, right? So this is referred to as gap stage 1 or the first gap phase. It is also this growth is G is also we can refer to as a growth phase, right? G for growth. So the growth will occur two phases, G1 also and G2 also, right? So the out of these two growths, this G1 is the primary and major growth phase also. So most of the growth occurs in the G1 only. Whatever the most of the cells in our body is also, they are mostly in what? G1 phase, right? Nextly, the preparatory stage for DNA replication. Obviously, as I have said, the replication is occurring in this S phase. The preparation for this replication will occur where? In this G1 phase only. The normal cell metabolism, which was slowed down during previous cell division, is resumed. Now let's see. Okay, I will just restart the session after 10 minutes. What is said? The normal cell division. See, before this cell divides, okay, at that time the cell division occurs. The two cells are formed here at the cytokinesis. But here there is a normal slowdown, or the slowdown of normal metabolic activity in cells also occur, because the cell is involved in a mitosis, right? Cell division. So that regain of the normal metabolism is happen in this G1 phase only. Okay, so that's why cell starts to grow. Next is the transcription of three types of, see, as I say, RNAs are synthesized. The three types of RNAs are synthesized: rRNA, tRNA and mRNA. Now how we will just identify that the ribosomal RNA are synthesized? See, this nucleolus appears in the nucleus for the first time in the G1 phase only. This could also be an important question for an MCQ type also, and this is also a theoretical concept, you can also say, that the rRNA synthesis is first occurs in this G1 phase, and the nucleolus also appears in the nucleus in the G1 phase only. Okay, so these are almost 99% of important points about G1 phase. Along with that, there is some theory that I have included in my PDF notes. Okay, you can just refer it. Now let's see what are the synthesis which I have just said about this RNA and protein synthesis. What are those syntheses which are occurred in this G1 phase? Okay, so see these regulatory proteins which control these cycles occurs in this which will control the mitosis. These regulatory proteins will synthesize in this G1 phase only, right? The RNAs, as we have already seen, the membranes, right? Whichever membranes required in the cell, and the enzymes necessary for DNA synthesis, like DNA polymerase, are synthesized in G1 phase. The tubulin and other mitotic spindle proteins also. See, in this cell, if this is nucleus, here is suppose what we can say, the centromere or centrosome here. This centrosome replicates, and one copy goes to this side and one copy goes to this side, and then it forms a spindle, right? So this microtubule and spindle formation also starts somewhere here also. The tubulin and other mitotic spindle proteins are also synthesized in this G1 phase only. For this microtubule and other the spindle formation, the proteins are synthesized in the G1 phase only. Apart from this, also lipids, carbohydrates, and other enzymes which are required for mitosis, which are also synthesized in the G1 phase only. Now this is about G1 phase, and there is a one point to be remembered for the G1 phase, that is whatever these embryonic cells are there, as I have said earlier, that whatever these embryonic cells are there, they have, what their function is to grow fast, to multiply, right? So because of that, these embryonic cells show almost no growth in them, right? So they just divides, just the growth within a fraction, we can say within a short time, and they just later on go to the another division also. So that's why they show negligent growth or negligible growth, we can say, between two cell divisions. So that's therefore the DNA synthesis may occur more rapidly in embryonic cells than in adult cells. So that's why the entire cell cycle is also fastened in this embryonic cells. So as the entire cell cycle is fastened, the DNA synthesis will also occur more rapidly in case of G1 period for embryonic cells only. Okay. Other cells will have a longer G1 period, because at the G1 period only the other cells stay for a longer time, and they just grow even for maybe for entire life, for more than 40 years, 50 years. They stay in that G1 phase also, or an arrested G0 phase also, when they are just only metabolically active, but they don't show any kind of growth, right? So that will be referred to as G0 phase. Let's see some detail about what is the G0 phase and G1 phase. Many of you might have got confused in between G0 and G1. So let's compare. See, many cells be arrested in long periods of G1. Okay. So as I have said, the heart cells, the brain cells, they have just stuck on this long period of this G1, right? So in that G1 phase, sometimes they have just entered into a completely resting phase. Only they are alive, they are active, but they don't show any kind of growth, right? So that are referred as what? Quiescent phase or resting phase, which is called as what? G0 phase. The cells in this stage, as I have said, they are metabolically active, but divides only when necessary. They are active, they are alive, but they don't show any kind of division or mitosis, and they will show that mitosis only when it is necessary, right? If there is some injury. So we were up to this, right? So as I have said, they just stuck in that G1 phase. So it is referred, then what is it is referred to as G0 phase, right? Resting phase. Many times you will just find this G0 phase as a different, G1 as a different, but you just need to remember is that G0 phase is nothing but we can say a further inactive form of G1, right? So in G1 the cell does not go mitosis, and in that time if they just stop in that phase only for a longer time, then it is referred and stay in that inactive phase for a longer time, they are referred to as what? G0. So they are just metabolically active, but they don't show any division. Okay. And what are the examples like this? Neurons, heart cells, right? So these are referred as what? Examples of what? The cells which remain for a longer time in the G0. Okay, so now let's I have just explained you about the G1 phase. Okay, now let's see what is the S phase. Okay, so the events occurring in this phase are like the DNA synthesis, as we have already seen, the replication of the DNA. The centrioles also duplicate in the cytoplasm also, which contain that microtubule organizing center. This centriole also duplicates in the cytoplasm. See, in the S phase, the two main activities occur. One activity inside the nucleus and one activity inside the cytoplasm. What happens in the cytoplasm is, inside the cytoplasm, the centrioles duplicates. From one centriole, one microtubule organizing center, we can say, or one centriole center, we get the two centriolar center, so that the two microtubule organizing center can be formed at the time of spindle formation. And inside the nucleus, the DNA is replicated. So these two activities occur in this S phase. Along with that, obviously in the nucleus there are some other histone proteins are also synthesized, so that the DNA replication could occur easily. So along with there are some other functions occurring in this S phase. Let's see one by one. Okay. At the beginning of S period, the DNA synthesis, the new histones are required in large amounts. Now, why the histones, or what are the histone proteins? See, as I have said, these histones are these are the proteins which will here the histones. Okay, so these are the histones, and they will help to form what? The chromatin ultimately. And as we have we need the second strand of this chromatid. So that's why to form this second strand of chromatid, we will require this chromatin. And this chromatin, for this chromatin, obviously this histone will also required, because histones and DNA are the two main component of the this chromatin, right? So in the beginning period or at the start of S period, DNA synthesis period, these histone proteins will be required in a large amount. Next is, it occupies the 35 to 45% the time of the cell cycle, although it will vary according to the cell types or within the space also and within the cell types also. But in most of the humans, the S phase lasts for the 8 to 10 hours out of 24-hour cells. 24 hours of a cell cycle. S phase will last for how much? 8 to 10 hours. The amount of DNA, sorry. What just happened? See, the amount of DNA per cell doubles, right? As the cell is going replication, the DNA replication, the DNA will be doubled, right? So suppose this is the chromosome initial. This is the structure of the chromosome. What happen after the replication is that it will form another strand like this. Okay. So this, if you consider as one strand inside the cell, what happened is that the chromosome amount has been doubled, right? Now you just give an attention very carefully, because this confuses many times. After replication, what will happen? A single strand of chromosome, from a single chromosome, another single strand of chromosome will form, right? But when you consider this as a number, you will refer all these two chromatids as a one chromosome only. Okay. Even if the amount of chromosome has been doubled, you will still refer this as an one chromosome only. You will not say that this was the first, the single chromosome was there, and after that, as it is replicated on this, so this is the second chromosome, so these are the two chromosomes. This is not the case. We refer this entire, as it is a copy of this first chromosome, we'll refer this entire chromosome as a one chromosome. So that's why even if the amount of chromosome is doubled, but the number of chromosome in the cell remains same, right? So this is what I have just explained. The counting of this entire duplicated or the replicated chromosome is still considered as only one chromosome. And in the other mammalian cells, the S period most lasts from the 6 hours, we have seen, the 6 to 8 hours or 10 hours in some cells, in some humans or in some others. And in this S phase only, the chromosome remains fully extended and uncoiled. Okay, so even if it inside the cell, even if in the S phase, this chromosome will be like this only, in an extended form entirely, right? So that's why they will be difficult to observe under the light microscope. Okay, so they are until this S phase completes, they are not just fully condensed like this. Okay, whatever this entire DNA thread will be like this. Suppose this entire DNA strand is this, and this is finally just condensed in this format. But initially in the S phase, or until this S phase gets complete, sorry, anyone has doubt? No, I think. So initially what occurs is that until this S phase gets complete, this entire DNA is just synthesized as a single strand only. It is not condensed before this S phase. So that's why, as it is just non-condensed form, you cannot observe this thin strand under the light microscope. Okay, so that's why you won't able to observe the this DNA under the microscope in the S phase only. Now, when you will able to observe this DNA under the microscope, we will see. Obviously, once it is just condensed, you will able to identify. Okay. Now let's next. Now we have seen this G1 phase, also S phase also. Whatever the extra information that is required, you can just go to my PDF notes, right? So yes, and Anjali, do you have any query? अंजलि, आपको क्वेरी है क्या कोई? आवाज आ रहा है आपका, ठीक है?
Sir, I have one query, sir.
Yes, you can ask. Who is it? Ashish?
Yes, sir. Yes. So, sir, how I can get this note, because I'm new. Today is my first session. So I'm new joining in the Telegram your channel. So how I can get a PDF file, the documents.
Okay, you just see. I will tell you in the last part of this lecture. Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay.
We will just first finish the lecture. Let me just plug with battery. I think that is.
Yeah, sure, please. Thank you, sir.
Complete the lecture first, and we will have all these other queries. Okay. So now let's see the G2 phase. We have seen G1 phase, S phase, and as I have said, almost the detailed and whatever the entire theory is required for this G1 and G2. I have just included everything here. Okay. Once you have gone through this, you will not required to refer any other book. Okay. And so obviously you will also have to go through my PDF notes also. Okay. Now let's see G2 phase. Okay. In the G2 phase, as I have said, this is the second growth phase. The first growth phase, G1 phase. Okay. So this is the second growth phase. You can also call it as a secondary growth phase. The chromosomes start to condense and coil more tightly. As I have said, in this S phase, the DNA are synthesized in the nucleus, but it is still in a kind of this non-condensed form. Okay, but because of it is in a non-condensed form, you won't able to under a light microscope. But now the next phase is going to be mitosis. Okay, so for that mitosis, you have a division of this chromosome in two equal parts. Okay, so for that division, the chromosome need to be condensed, right? And that condensation is start from this G2 phase. Okay, so the first condensation of these chromosomes starts from this G2 phase. Okay, and once it is condensation is started, so what will happen is that, suppose this is the nucleus, as it is condensed, you will see able to see this DNA material under light microscope, but mostly we will see under the prophase. Okay, because at that time it is a highly condensed state. Okay, but that condensation occurs right from where G2 phase only. Okay, now let's see next. In this phase, proteins required for mitosis are synthesized. Okay, as one thing you need to remember is that whatever happening in this phase is there, the preparation is done in earlier phase. With the same logic, whatever will be required in this prophase, metaphase, anaphase or mitosis, all that preparation or all that machinery required for this mitosis will be synthesized or will be arranged in the this phase, earlier phase, and which is that G2 phase. Okay, so that's why the proteins which will be required for this mitosis, enzymes which will be required for this mitosis are synthesized in this G2 phase only. The spindle and aster proteins are synthesized for the preparation of chromosome separation and during mitosis. And the spindle, as I have said, in the next lecture when we will going to study, this is the spindle formation. These are the two microtubule organizing centers inside the cell. Okay, you will understand this in next lecture only. Okay, not now. Maybe some of you who don't know much about this mitosis and all, they won't be understand about this. But let's give me a short introduction. See, this spindle is nothing but the formation of out of the microtubule inside. Suppose this is the cell, this is the nucleus. Okay, and these are the two centrosome or the microtubule organizing centers are there. Initially it is one, then it is duplicated. One center, microtubule organizing center migrates to other side and one to the other side. Okay, so all of these microtubules, proteins or the fibers are there. The basic machinery for the synthesis of those fibers also occur in this G2 phase only. So that spindle and aster, these aster are nothing but like this star-shaped proteins near these two poles. Okay, we will just see these asters in the mitosis lecture. Okay, so all these aster proteins and spindle fibers proteins are synthesized in this G2 phase only. As I have said, the pair of microtubule organizing center, MTOC, these are referred as microtubule organizing center, are also replicated in this G2 phase only. In eukaryote cells, extensive synthesis of tubulin takes place to form microtubules. Right? So these microtubules are there. So all of this, the synthesis is done in this G2 phase only. And what are the other preparations are done? Like the mitochondria and other organelles also replicate within the cell. The chromosomes start to condense in the G2 phase only. The microtubules begin to assemble a spindle. So this spindle is start to form in this G2 phase only. Okay, so this is about what? G2 phase. So now this is about the interphase entirely, G1, S and G2 phase. Okay. The next part of the lecture would be the syllabus will be this mitosis, which is referred to as mitosis plus cytokinesis is referred as what? M phase. Okay, cytokinesis. These two we can say as M phase, and we will study this M phase in next lecture. Okay. But what happens in this M phase? Obviously, the cell grows to prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Once all these four phases occur, finally the cell divides. That is the cytokinesis. But we will study this cytokinesis and all this mitosis in the next lecture. But till now, if anyone of you have any doubt regarding the interphase, you can ask. And as I have said, you won't be required to go anywhere. Once you have referred my notes, I have just collected it. All that information that is required for all these individual G1, G2 or S from almost 10 books. So this would be a one-stop note for you. I will just share it, the PDF of that notes after some time. Okay. So before that, if anyone